And welcome back, everyone, back to the Lantern Corp series. Well, not the Green Lantern series, but the Lantern Corp series. This one comes to us from, what was the name of them again? Mr. Trevor Anthony X22. Well, that's the question. Why is the Lantern Corp of Accelerator from a certain magical, I believe it says, certain magical index, I believe is the name of the series. Not a series I am overly familiar with. I've seen bits of the series, not like watched episodes, but I've seen bits online from YouTube, all that. And it comes up as well, like talked about like powerful anime characters. It comes up as a very powerful character. So looking into the personality of this character is a little difficult, because that's where you're if you're not familiar with a character, that's where you got to go to actually kind of piece together their personality and what emotional state they represent. He's kind of the top dog of his universe. He does ultimately get beat at some point. And for the longest time, he chose to be a villain because he didn't think he could be a hero. But ultimately, he does turn a leaf and then turn a new leaf and try to be a hero, constantly trying to seek validation, in his heroic antics. So let me get a couple of these things right out of the way. Not a Gold Lantern. Very few characters ever are Gold Lantern. So not a Gold Lantern. I don't think he really feels much shame for what he did. So ultraviolets are out. He's certainly not a White Lantern. Doesn't really respect life that much. Doesn't really qualify for a Death Lantern either. Yeah, he has killed before, but he's not the embodiment of death or anything like that. He's really not a Lantern of Hope. People don't put a lot of faith in him, and he is not someone who is very faithful himself. Right out the gate, I will say there are, and honestly, I could probably add a fourth one in here thinking on it, but he's not completely devoid of compassion. It's just he does not care. He's gone so long being the top dog, he just does not care. But let's get a couple of these right out of the way right now. Will is one that he could qualify for, as it is the Lantern Corp of both Will and overcoming great fear. That said, I actually don't think this is a very strong, of the three strongest, I don't think it's the strongest. I actually think it's the weakest. And this is just due to the fact that two of the other ones on this list I think kind of fit him better. Because, yeah, he can overcome great fear and has great willpower, but he doesn't really fit a Green Lantern very well in terms of his personality type. He's too aggressive, he's too full of himself, so I would not go that route. I would not go love. He doesn't really seem a whole lot of love for anyone but himself, and even then, it's not really the love that would work for the Star Sapphires. Compassion was the one I actually had to reconsider, because I'm like, does he have enough compassion or lack? He certainly doesn't have enough compassion to be a Indigo Ring holder. But does he lack enough compassion to be a Indigo Lantern? Because that's your qualifications. Lack of or overabundance of. I would say this, if we're going with start of the series, like up until his turn, then yeah, I would go, he definitely could be a Indigo Lantern of Compassion. But because he tries to be a hero now, or at least that's in the other part of the series, I might say that if it's in the second half or the later half of the series, or later part of the series, where he's trying to actually be the protagonist, or he is the protagonist, I would say he probably no longer can qualify for compassion just because he has at least enough to care on some level. So I would probably lean that way. I don't think he can be a Rage Lantern because I don't think rage is what really drives him that much. At least from what I could find. He can be aggressive and he can lose his temper, absolutely, but is rage what dominates him emotionally? I don't think that's what dominates him. With that being said, I think greed is possible because he's kind of not satisfied with anything. He's the top. It's kind of like Yujiro, Hanma from Baki, who I don't think I've done yet on this channel. Someone who just has the world at their fingertips and can do whatever they want. But because of that, they're just bored with life and they're just craving something more. That would fall under avarice, that wanting, need, greed. That kind of falls under that. And he's being a hero. It's partly for his own self, validation. So, and he constantly craves more attention and, people saying, oh, he's a hero. So that's falling a little bit under greed as well. But ultimately, I think it was actually kind of obvious. Yellow, fear. When this character shows up, the few times I remember him showing up, the few clips I've seen of it, people were scared when this guy showed up. Like, oh no. So, yeah, taxi. That's very funny. Like, it is very much a oh shit vibe when this guy shows up. So I would say that he's most likely a Yellow Lantern, with Greed being his secondary option. I would say Will, if we're going we're going past the point where he's like being a hero now, it would then be Will. But if we're going by him before being a hero, then I'd actually go the Indigo Ring. Actually, and probably Indigo over Greed at that point. I think Fear is still the best chance he has to be a Lantern member. And no matter what part of the series you're looking at, I think Fear works on the overall spectrum the best. But it depends on when you're catching him in the series, honestly. So I would probably go that. I'd probably go Yellow as like the main one, and then it varies depending on where you catch him in the series for that other other three, I should say. So there you have it. That's my thoughts. But what do you think? Do you think it'd be that Lantern Ring, another one, or any of the other ones I talked about? Let me know in the comments below. Again, I admit, don't know this series as well as I know other series, so if someone knows the series better, let me know if you think the Yellow Lantern was a good choice for him. Or would you go a different route? Let me know. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.